welcome to Revelations of Delusional Knitter. I'm Angela, your host. This is episode 152, and it is November 12th, 2017, Sunday, I believe. Welcome. If you are new, if you are returning, I thank you as always, and either way, I hope you enjoy the show and continue to watch the podcast. There's a group on Ravelry, Revelations of Delusional Knitter. If you're on Ravelry, come on over there and join. And the show is on iTunes, YouTube, and delusionalknitter.com. Updates and housekeeping. I've been wanting to get back to VKNs. Those are virtual knit nights, so it's almost like having a knitting group where you meet people, except we are all online in different locales. But I haven't been able to do so because of overtime and my work schedule, so I'm hoping to be able to do that over the winter. We'll see. That will be on the Ravelry group if you're on there. I was also thinking of doing a 2018 knit-along for the group, but I'm still thinking of ideas for that, so I don't know. If you have any ideas, when I post the thread for this episode, I'll ask, and you can shout out if you have any ideas. And I was also thinking for next year to do like a project showcase. So if you guys have projects, you can send me the links and then I will show them on the podcast. So you can kind of share everybody's stuff with everybody else. That would be cool. So I don't know how many I'll do per episode. Depends on how many I get. Also, it might just be one. But we'll see how that goes. But I'll put a link for that as well. I would have you PM them to me, because if they're in the group, then everybody's going to already see it. So I think if you PM them to me, and then I'll show them. Something like that. So we'll see. But there'll be instructions in a thread and whatever. Declarations. What's been going on? So I don't think I've recorded for like 2 months almost now, because I think the last time I recorded was September. And I did have some time off in October, but I just never got around to recording. And today, I will talk about what I did today in a few minutes, but I had overtime last night that was unexpected due to a family emergency with a coworker, but somebody else luckily came in, so I didn't have to stay too long. And then I had something to do today, so I am just really tired. And I do have tomorrow off, but I have a bunch of stuff to do and errands to run, and I figured if I didn't record now, it probably wouldn't happen tomorrow either. And so it's late. It's like 10 o'clock at night. My hair's up because I was late almost to the thing I was going to as usual, so I never blow-dried my hair, straightened it. So what's been going on? My husband and I went to go see Red Green, and he is a Canadian comedian. He's older now. And he used to have a show on like PBS or something. I don't really remember. But he was really funny. It was really fun to see him in person because my husband always watched reruns of his show. And then I started, watching it, seeing him watch it. So it was really funny. And he was really excellent. And it's really like clean, fun humor, which I don't care if people swear. It doesn't bother me because I swear a lot. But he's really, really funny without being crude or, whatever. It's just funny. It's like listening to a, older person like Grandpa making jokes, but he's really, really funny. We went to the movie theater to see Samurai Jack. That is a cartoon, but it's kind of an adult cartoon. It's a very interesting cartoon because it's very artsy. They do a lot of things with scenery and music and stuff like that. And, they had some special showing of the first 3 episodes at the movie theaters recently, so we went to go see that. So it was like an hour and a half, I think, or maybe almost an hour and a half, but it was really awesome to see it on the big screen. And it had been a while because that hasn't been on for a long time because it was it ended and it's not on anymore, so that was a lot of fun. We also went to the movies to see it, and it was terrifying. It was really terrifying. My husband wanted to see it. I could have not gotten to see it, but he wanted to go see it, so I was like, okay. And I like the fact we went, there's actually a movie theater behind my house, through the woods, but right behind my house. And that one lets me bring, or anybody, but I like to go there because it lets me bring coffee from the local coffee place that I really like. So I went and got a coffee before we went, so that was awesome. I let you walk in with that if it's from that particular coffee place, so that was cool. But I think the worst part was that we saw it in the movie theater, so like, I'm not going to give away any spoilers if you haven't seen it, but at some points, Pennywise the Clown gets very large in dimensions and comes flying at the screen. And when you're in the movie theater, when he's running at you, the bass from the speakers, you can feel it in your seat. It's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. So, but it was really good, actually. It was really, really well done. And I did enjoy it, except for the fact that halfway through, I almost leaned over to my husband and whispered, "I'll meet you in the lobby when it's over. I can't watch this anymore." Because it was pretty scary. It was pretty scary. And it wasn't the idea of it. Like I said, it was more the action and suspense that were terrifying to me. We also went to the Cheesecake Factory. My birthday is in October, and I like to go there. I don't go there every year, but I really like the Cheesecake Factory because cheesecake is my favorite thing. And that was really good. And my sister, who moved back here recently, I invited her because she actually lives close to there. The Cheesecake Factory is not really close to us, but I invited her, so she came out too, so it was nice to see her. And she actually, I forgot to grab it, because I didn't write it down. She crocheted me a kitty with a Slytherin scarf. It's actually back there in the bookcase, but you probably can't see it because it's way in the back. But I'll put in a photo of it because I forgot to grab it because I didn't write it down. And that's what happens when you don't write things down. I also went to birthday lunch. Every year, a group of people that I used to work with several years ago, one that I'm friends with, we all go to birthday lunch. And it's funny because he invited another guy that we're friends with that when we worked together, and his birthday's not around this time, but he was like, "Oh, hey, if you're still around 12:30, we're going to this restaurant, blah, blah, blah." So he came with us. He sneakily paid for all of our lunches while we weren't paying attention and said happy birthday when we were looking for the check. I took care of it. That was really nice. It was a really nice surprise. Really nice of him. So, and it was good to see him because I hadn't seen him in a couple of years, actually. And then two of the girls I work with and I went to Salem around Halloween, so that was really cool. We did some witchy stuff, we did some haunted houses. That's another one. I don't usually really do haunted houses because I don't like being, terrified. But I was like, hey, it's near Halloween, we're in Salem, you gotta do some haunted houses, right? So we did, and it was funny, out of all of them, the one that I think was the worst, it was just like black. Like you really couldn't see anything. And the only thing you could really see, there was some like chain link fences and like dark black cloths covering the walls and like a little bit of graffiti kind of a thing. I'm sure there was more than one person because there's no way this one person chased us around the whole thing. Or, and all of these people all night because they would be dead by the end of the night from exhaustion. But they all dressed the same and they were pretty much just wearing like black clothes, I think. And they all had the same exact scary clown mask on. So it was like being chased down. It was like being in a horror movie because this freaking clown kept popping out of nowhere. So that was it was the simplest one and it was the scariest one. So that was pretty funny. But I enjoyed it actually. We were cracking up and screaming. I think I was doing most of the screaming. But that was a lot of fun. We had a really good time. So I think that's all that's been going on. I've been working a lot and stuff, and not too much. The overtime hasn't been crazy. I get really tired around this time of year when it gets dark out at like 4:30. It makes me really tired. So I just feel tired all the time. But I did have overtime recently this week, so that's why I'm tired today. Revelations. So I had been working on the What the Fade mystery knit along, and I had a mistake. And the hard thing with brioche, because it's brioche right now, is that it doesn't look right, or not that it doesn't look right. It kind of looks, if you've ever done brioche before, you know what I'm talking about. When you're in between rows, it just doesn't form very structured until you complete the repeats for the brioche stitch. And then it looks, like this. Now the increases for this shawl are on the edges and in the center. And I had an edge one, and when I went to do like the second row or whatever, I thought it looked weird. And I didn't think it looked weird. I knew it looked weird. I knew something was weird about it. What happened was I thought I fixed it. Clearly I did not. So then after a couple more rows, when the brioche formed more, I looked back at that increase, and there was definitely something wrong and weird about it. So at this point, I think it's this part right here, which you're probably not even going to be able to see on the camera. So anyway, after doing another like the two rows or whatever with the colors, and then I knew there was definitely something wrong with that increase, so now I have to rip back. And at that point, the last clue was sent out on September 28th. I was already way behind because I think there were 5 clues and I was still on clue 2. And then I had this error that if I was smart, I would have caught right away and ripped back, but I didn't. I tried to fix it and continued on, and I didn't fix it right. So you know what? I just gave up because clearly I was not going to finish this mystery knit along on time. And by that point, it had finished, and I started seeing spoilers, whether I tried to or not, and so I just gave up on it. And honestly, it is a very beautiful shawl. I thought, even though I told you it was brioche and garter stitch, I thought it was going to be more intricate, I guess, not just plain garter for the rest of it, so I don't even know if I want to finish it at this point, or just rip it out. It was an excellent practice in brioche stitch, but I'm not even sure. It is a really cool looking shawl, but I guess I thought the clues would build more and be a little bit more different, not just be brioche at the top and garter at the bottom, so I don't even know if I want to finish it now. Even Star has been going pretty good. I haven't worked on it much at all, because this is one I only work on if I have my wits about me, which right now is rare. But it is definitely growing, as you can see. I can't pull it too much because it'll come off the needles, but it's definitely going, and I love that one. And eventually it'll have to move out of this bag and go to a bigger bag once it grows more, but I have it in the Hobbit bag right now from Stitched by Jessalou. Socktober socks. I started some socks, like some Halloween-y socks, and I also have them in a Stitched by Jessalou bag. This is Halloween bag. Excuse me, I have like hiccups. And this was interesting. I had never knit from a sock blank before. I don't think I like knitting from sock blanks. So this was a sock blank from Gail's Art. It was a Socktober one from 2016. Or, yeah, I think it was 2016. So I had started knitting the socks off the sock blank. Now normally I do 2 socks at a time anyway, but on separate needles. As you can see, I clearly have something going on here. So that was one thing I didn't like. I did not have a double sock blank, I had a single. So you can only knit one at a time. And I started knitting the sock, and because of the crinkly way the yarn is, because it's already knit in the blank, it was affecting my gauge, I think, and this sock was enormous. Enormous. Then I decided I really don't like knitting with this, so what I did was I pulled the sock blank apart, I skeined it, I washed it. It's still a little crinkly, but it's definitely not like it was. I split it into 2 balls so I could do 2 socks at a time, and I started again. It's still even a little big, and I actually went from 64 stitches down to 60 to compensate for that. I think they'll be fine though. That's just a tiny bit too big, so I'll just make them shorter so that they stretch lengthwise over my foot and kind of take up some of that. But the sock, you know, the effect of the sock blank is really cool, and I really like it. But I've decided I do not like knitting with sock blanks at all. I really didn't even get that far. I probably got this far when I was knitting on the sock blank, and then I gave up. So, yeah, I have decided I don't like sock blanks. And that's all I have. I was thinking of doing a Frankenmonster for Halloween, That's where there's the group on the Rebecca Danger group on Ravelry. They just give you clues, so you have a mishmash of different patterns from Rebecca Danger from the monsters, and you put it all together. That's why it's a Franken monster. I didn't even start it. I thought about it. I was like in the group and like getting clues together and stuff, and then it just, I don't know what happened after that. It just went out the window, and I never even started it. And then by then I gave up. I'm like, it's not even Halloween anymore, you know, whatever. Okay, string theory. So today, I went to my local yarn store for a fiber prep class. So they were going to talk about getting fleece, washing fleece, you know, different ways to prepare fleeces and everything like that. Now, I've done all this stuff before. What I was really interested in doing in this class was they were going to have a drum carder and a blending board available for use, which I used. And I'm happy about that, but honestly, I didn't learn a thing in the class because I already knew all that stuff, which is fine. I kind of knew that going in. I thought I might learn some things, but I really didn't learn that much. However, like I said, they had a drum carder, which, by the way, I found out I absolutely love drum carding, and I really want a drum carder now. I tried the blending board too. I don't know if I wasn't doing it properly, but it just wasn't working out for me. So, and I hurt my wrist. So, not bad, it's just sore, and it's from the blending board, from combing on the blending board. And I don't know if I wasn't doing it right, but I was not getting what other people get. And to be honest with you, I don't love spinning with the things that come off the blending board, whatever you want to call them, like faux legs or roll eggs or whatever you want to call them. They're not really roll eggs, but I don't really like spinning with them either, so I'm not sure that I would get much use out of a blending board anyway. I mean, I guess you could pull it off looser and make a bat out of it, but I don't know. I really, really like the drum carder. So I played with the drum carder a lot. So I made up a couple of bats with some of the fibers that she had for us to play with, and it was so much fun, and I really, really enjoyed it. This one's kind of falling apart because I was showing my husband when you unroll it, that's how you can spin it, but I loved it. Oh, I really, really, really liked the drum carder. So that was a lot of fun. And it was worth it just to do that, because a drum carder's a pretty hefty investment, so I wanted to know if I even liked it. And I definitely did. So, string theory. I've also been gearing up for this class. I kind of got more motivated to do some fiber prep stuff. So I was washing some stuff that I had downstairs, not whole fleeces. I do have whole fleeces downstairs. I wasn't washing those. I had some 4-ounce raw fibers, so I washed up a couple of those. I had 2 4-ounce batches of Icelandic. I had some Dorset Suffolk 4 ounces. I had some Targhee 4 ounces, and I also, when I went to the New Hampshire Sheep and Wool earlier this year, I got an alpaca Crea fleece. So I washed up some of that, not the whole fleece, and started combing it, and it's been a lot of fun. The Targhee is coming out awesome. So this is the Targhee that I washed. So, you know, before you comb it, it's just this jumbled mess of fibers, and the Targhee's really nice. It's got a really nice crimp, and this one's got a nice staple length. I don't know how well that's going to show up, but this fiber's a really, really nice fiber, and it's a nice brown. So that's what it looks like just washed, and then when I comb it up, I get these lovely little bits of super soft fiber, and they're just super, super lovely to spin. So this piece, if I undid it, would be a long piece of top, technically, because it's combed, but they're just however much fits on my comb. I got a bunch of these. And spinning it, I'm doing something I really haven't done before, spinning this. I'm just spinning it worsted. But what I did was, I made up a sample to continue to spin it consistently by. So I have my card here, I have a plyback sample, and I have a single sample, and I'm constantly checking what I'm spinning against what's on this card to make sure that I stay consistent with it. And it's coming out really awesome, because this really is not my default spinning. My default spinning is a little bit thicker than this. So it's a little bit, takes me more, I have to pay a lot more attention to stay within the boundaries of that sample. So that's been a ton of fun. And then the alpaca, is absolutely gorgeous. And this alpaca, I wasn't even looking for alpaca. What happened was we were just, milling around, walking around. There was a group there that had a farm, and they were just selling fleeces, and they didn't really have a booth, they didn't have a sign, they just were standing. I mean, they were allowed to be there, but they were just standing in one of the barns with bags of fleeces around them, just talking to people and, waving at people that went by. So I really had no interest in an alpaca fleece at all. And I happened to walk by, and the guy was like, "Hey, are you a spinner?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "I got some alpaca fleeces. This one happens to be a cria. Do you know what that means?" And I said, "Yes. It means it's, the baby, and that's the only baby fleece you're going to get off that because it's going to grow up." And he's like, "Exactly." He's like, "You want it, you want it $20. And I was like, "What?" Okay. So I was like, "I still have $20 on me. You're in luck." So this is only a tiny bit of the fleece that I washed. This was probably like, I don't know, an eighth or a sixth of the entire fleece that I have that I washed. So that's how much I have downstairs. And this stuff is absolutely gorgeous. It is really, really gorgeous. It's super, super soft. It's gorgeous. It's combing up awesome. And I'm really actually glad that I got it. And it's cleaning up great because the blanket, alpacas are really dusty animals, so it wasn't very white. Let's put it that way. It wasn't white. It was white and then like really brown gray because it was just dirt. So combing it though and washing it got all that out, and it's lovely. White alpaca. So I'm enjoying that. I just made a note because in the last podcast episode I was talking about my fiber stash and organizing it and how much of a ridiculous stash it is. There was actually a bin missing from the photo that I posted on the Ravelry group. And I thought that wasn't right because I've been in the Into the World club for like 5 years now. There's another whole bin of Into the World that I found downstairs that wasn't with the other ones. It was across the basement. So yeah, just thought I'd let you know that. Scrolls. I do have a review. So I got a sample of Be Sweet Magic Yarns. I talked about that before. And it is the magic ball, which it is technically really a magic ball. It's different kinds of yarns knotted together. It's like an art yarn. And Be Sweet is the company. And they have a nice mission because the yarns are dyed and spun by women in South Africa. And it's a job creation program, so it's offered them an opportunity to do this rather than work hard labor in fields. So I thought that was really cool too, but you can look up Be Sweet and get more info about that. So I was thinking of designing a cowl for the yarn, and then I found on Ravelry somebody already had, and it was really kind of awfully close to what I was thinking about, so I just used that pattern instead. And it's called the Magic Cowl, and it's free. And it's a long cowl, and it came out awesome, and this yarn was so much fun to knit with because it's so funky and fun. So it really is like an art yarn, like I said. So this is my finished cowl, and these are all the different sections of yarn that are knotted together, but because there's like boucle and mohair and ribbons and bits in there, you can't see any of the knots. You can't see any of them at all. I didn't have any trouble with any joins. Nothing fell apart. I washed it. I didn't block it. Like, I just laid it flat and kind of shaped it to block it. I didn't, like, hard block it or anything. But nothing. I had no issues whatsoever with it at all. And I really like the cowl. It's a lot of fun. And it was really fun to knit with. You really wanted to see what was coming up next in the ball. So it was a lot of fun. And, yeah, it's a nice, really cool, like, art yarn. And I enjoyed it a lot. And it comes in a ton of colors on their website. It comes in so many colors, it's crazy. So that's Be Sweet Magic Ball, and thanks to them for sending a sample. And also Stitchcraft Marketing is the company that helps connect podcasters and stuff with the yarn companies to get stuff to them. So that's really cool. And I enjoyed that one. And I think I'm going to have to pause here and reset the camera so I can continue on with the rest of the episode. Okay, on to Testaments. So, like I said before, October's my birthday month, so I have a few things, because I like to use that as an excuse to buy things. I did get, and I think I put them away in the closet, because I couldn't find them in the room, and to get into my closet I have to move some spinning wheels and some stuff, so I'm not doing that right But I did get 2 more Stitched by Jessalou bags, but they're really big bags. And one was a Hobbit one, and one was like a unicorn one. That was really cool. I don't think I had them on the last episode. I may have, actually. I may have already shown them, but I have this on my notes here. But also, that one could mean the Halloween one. I didn't actually write what bag I was talking about, so it might be this one, actually, because for some reason I feel like I already showed the other ones, and then I put them away. So I think it's probably this bag that I was talking about, which this one I also got bigger, so it's kind of like the small wedge bag, except it's taller. So that was also an excuse, like, oh, well, I have a bunch of wedge bags, but this one's taller. So I think it is actually that one that I was talking about. I also bought myself, I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but LuLaRoe is a clothing thing that consultants sell them. So, like, they're not in the store, you don't buy them online, you have to get them through a consultant. But anyway, they have leggings, and they are the most comfortable leggings you will ever wear in your life. They're super, super soft, and they fit really good. And they have awesome prints. That's kind of their thing. So, I got quite a few recently because it was around Halloween, and they had Nightmare Before Christmas. So I got, they had a Lock, Shock, and Barrel print. That was awesome. Jack Skellington, of course, right? More Jack Skellington. These ones are really cool. They're like flowers on this background, but if you look closely, let me find a close one, they're Jack faces. So that one was awesome. And Cruella de Vil, they had the Disney villain ones. Mainly because they're purple. Is why I got them. Because they're a really cool purple print. And then, just the other day, actually, I got one more pair because they were out with the Christmas ones. So I got these cool reindeer ones. So they also have tops and like other types of things. I'm more into the leggings, but they have all kinds of stuff. If you have ever worn LuLaRoe, you know what I'm talking about. I got Neverwear by Neil Gaiman. I got the illustrated signed copy. And it didn't cost any more or anything. It was just a thing that Barnes & Noble was doing, so I was super excited about that. So it's one of my favorite stories. So I got that. I was so excited. And it's signed by Neil Gaiman. So I was excited to get that. That was really cool. Spindle D-Stash. I got a couple of spindles, but anyway, I had one already. I always like my spindles to at least have a mate, you know, if not a family. But if I have a spindle, I like it to have a mate. So I had one, Phil Powell, and they're the really cool ones with the crystal on the bottom. And I had this one already, so I got it a mate because somebody was de-stashing one, and it's about the same height. It's just off by a little bit, but it's a different wood. Totally, and it's kind of a purpley crystal. It's a little bit different than the other one, but this one's more of like a yellowy one. The other one's more like a blue. But that was a good find. What else did I get? I have my Into the World shipments. So I have September, which was A Girl Has No Name, which is a Game of Thrones reference. It's Tardy, which is one of my favorite fibers. And it's gorgeous, as usual. Some nice muted jewel tone colors. And then October is Maturin. I have no idea what that's in reference to. It's Cheviot. It's a really cool color. I like that light yellow in there. It's really cool. So I got those. And I bought myself 2 other spindles because I'm crazy. So one was somebody I've never heard of before. I just saw him online, and it was pretty inexpensive, and it looked kind of cool. It's Forest Lake Treen on Etsy, but it's got a nice finish to it. Oh, it had a hook, which honestly, actually, I'm finding I really don't like at all. It kind of gets in my way. But I wanted to try it because none of mine have hooks, and it's just a, you know, Turkish spindle. But it spins really nicely. And I got another, I probably should have put it together. I got another FW Aussie in Black Palm. I love Black Palm. Black Palm is a gorgeous wood. So that one looks like that. And this is a hawksbill. This is the smallest. It might be one up from the smallest one they make, but I have one that size already that I really like. So I got that one. And that's it. I'm sure there were other things I bought, but I don't know what, and I don't know where they are right now. So we'll just leave it at that. Intentions. So I'm going to use this more for my plans in general for like knitting and spinning stuff rather than just designing from now on. So I passed the Knitting Guild Association's Master Hand Knitter Program Level 1 a few years ago in 2015. And then I like immediately purchased Level 2. And I started to work on it, and then I never touched it again. So I started getting back into that because I really want to finish off that level. And technically now, there's a time limit to it, which I'm definitely not going to make. They still let you submit. I think you just have to pay like an extension fee or something. So that's fine, but I'm getting back into that. Level 2 was a lot more involved than Level 1. Level 1's a pretty big deal. It took me, they give you 12 months. It took me 6 months to do Level 1. But you have to do like 17 swatches, I think, and a color mitten, and there's a lot of research, and you have to answer a bunch of questions, and you have to write papers and stuff like that. And Level 2 is even more involved. There's 4 book reviews, a history report, and then the questions, and then 22 swatches, I think, and one is a color work, like Farrow one. And you also have to knit a vest, so it's really involved. I also, though, just started, because they just started a new program to be a certified knitting instructor, but it was discounted if you purchased it by, I think it was the end of October. So I purchased it, and I started working on that. And that's also, like, just as involved as the Master Hand Knitting levels. You have to design, like, 7 classes. It was 5 or 7 classes. There's a bunch of questions. And you have to do book reviews for that, too. So, yeah, I have a lot of research and stuff to do, but that's how you learn. That's how I've learned a lot of stuff. Doing that first level, I learned a ton of stuff about knitting, so it was really cool. I was also thinking of, I don't know, I'll have to see how it goes, but I did a talk at my husband's cousin's knitting group about fiber and wool and spinning and yarn and all kinds of stuff. And I was thinking of breaking that down into YouTube videos, that whole presentation that I did, because it was pretty involved. It was like a 2-hour presentation. So I was thinking of breaking it down into different YouTube videos. I'm not sure yet. I'll have to see how that goes, but I wanted to do some more like tutorial and instructional video kind of things. Hair say. I have nothing for hair say other than Ravelry patterns, because I honestly have no idea what's going on in the knitting world right now. Absolutely no idea, because I've been working, sleeping, and that's about it. Playing with the dog and whatever. So I do have some Ravelry patterns for you. I did want to show you, since I had to reset the camera, I went and grabbed the cat that my sister crocheted. So it's pretty big too. She's really good at crochet. Like, you can't see the stuffing at all. I don't know how she crochets this tight, but this she made me for my birthday, so that was really cool. Yeah, she's really, really good at amigurumi. My dad's house when we went down to Florida is just full of amigurumi from her, like Star Wars and Lord of the Rings and different comic book characters and stuff like that. It's really cool. I think she even did like the 7 dwarfs for my stepmom. It was pretty awesome. So, Ravelry patterns. Let's see what we have. I have the Color Drift Cowl. It is free. It uses 620 to 630 yards of fingering, so it would be a really good project for leftovers. Because you just... So it's just a neck cowl, and you can use your leftovers, and it kind of lets them fade into each other. So that one's cool. The big, comfy, chunky hat. Nope. The big, chunky... No, I did say that right, didn't I? I think I said it backwards the first time. The big, chunky, comfy hat. It uses super bulky, 60 to 70 yards, and it's a beanie, and it is also free. This would be an awesome pattern to spin up yarn for. Just looks like a super comfortable hat and a super quick knit. So that one's really cool. I have a sweater pattern to show you. It's called Portage. It's by Melissa. I'm not pronouncing her last name at all. It's $6.50. Now, I love the style of this sweater anyway, but let me tell you something about sweaters. Sweaters don't all fit everybody the same way as they do the model in the photograph. As you know, any clothing is like that. On the models in the store, it might look fabulous, and you try it on and it looks horrendous. But I looked at the projects for this pattern that other people have posted, and all different types of body types, it looked fabulous on. So that was really cool. It's indicative of a really good design, and I love the pockets in the front. Super comfy. It's a really nice design. I like the look, just not sure what stitch this is or how it is to knit, but the whole back is this, like, it looks like a honeycomb stitch actually. I'm not sure what it's like to knit that stitch. I don't think I've ever knit a stitch like that, so. But anyway, that looks like an excellent, excellent sweater pattern. And the last one I have, I thought I talked about it before, but I looked back in my show notes real quick and I didn't see that I had mentioned it. And it's been out for a while now, and it's free also. But if you've ever knit the sockhead hat, now it's got a companion cowl. So that's really cool. And that would be a fun one for, you know, a skein of sock yarn that you really, really like that you don't want to hide in your shoes. Now we are on to Delusional Jabber. So Bujo, for those of you that bullet journal, I really enjoyed mine this year, and I liked decorating it and doing all that stuff. However, sometimes I was too busy to decorate it. And sometimes when I try and do things, I'm really tired, and I probably shouldn't do them. For example, I had left my November calendar without the word November on it for like a week. And then I decided, you know what, I'm just going to go and, you know, finish this up and get November on there. Well, I was really tired, and it was after work one night, and I forgot the M in November. That's why I shouldn't do things when I'm really tired. So I was so painstakingly doing this faux calligraphy that I was paying so much attention to forming the letters that I didn't pay attention to, you know, spelling. I know how to spell November, but, you know, those are the kind of things that happen. So I don't know yet what I'm going to do, but I bought a book, and it's really cool, and it's called The Nature Observer, and it's a journal. And the reason I liked it is that it's technically set up the same exact way I set up my Bujo every month. And in addition, it's already illustrated, and you can just color it in. So I was thinking I might go this way this year. Now it's called Nature Observer because it also gives you guided ideas of things to look for in nature. Like if you go on a hike, you know, look at the trees and sketch them in the notebook, or, you know, whatever. All kinds of things like that. So that was cool too, because I do often pay attention to what's going on outside with the seasons and the weather and the animals and everything like that. So like here's an example. It says winter, you know, walks to take. So it's got this nice illustrated page, and you can write, you know, I'm not a hiker. I'm actually quite lazy, so I don't know how this is going to work for me, but you know, things like that. So if you are a nature person, changes in my neighborhood that only happen during winter, so you can journal about that. I mean, obviously you can use these pages for other things if you would like to, but that's the purpose of this journal. Here's one that's in the summer. Describe or sketch 10 things you found on a beach or lake shore. Like that kind of thing. That's what it's got throughout the entire book. So, but I really liked that it was already set up. Like here's August. It's got the calendar. Nothing's dated, so you can use it for any year you want. It's just got the blocks there, and you can fill in the numbers for the days. And then the next page, it has a tracker that's all set up and ready to go. It's got the days of the month, and then you can fill in your tasks or habits that you want to track. And then it's got weeks. So again, it's not dated. It's just got the week there for you. And that's pretty much how I set up my Bujo anyway. So I'm really thinking I am going to use this. I was really on the fence until I mucked up spelling November, and I've done stuff like that before in the Bujo. So I'm really thinking I am going to use that one next year after that. So speaking of that, faux calligraphy, Lovely Loops, and it's love and then Lee, like the name, L-E-I-G-H, Loops. If you look them up, they have an awesome faux calligraphy course with like the videos online. That's how I did it. They were doing it as a group, but I think everything is still available if you're interested in checking that out. And what faux calligraphy is, my lovely example of November, is that it looks like calligraphy, but you're not actually doing calligraphy. This is just like a regular pen that I did that with. And it just shows you how to draw the letters so that you can get that look. And then you go back and you fill in the down where the downstrokes would be, and that makes it look like calligraphy. But that was a lot of fun. I took their course and it was good. Now I'm working on brush lettering, and that's with like the brush pens and stuff like that. And I think it's the Happy Ever Crafter has a course for brush lettering that's free if you're interested in that. And I don't really have any examples of brush lettering because I'm not very good at it yet. So I'll show you that later. Alright, and I think that's all that's been going on for the crafty bits. So TV. I've been watching, excuse me, I think I inhaled some fiber or dust. It always happens when I'm showing everything. Fiber and stuff gets kicked up. Preacher. I've been watching. I'm behind on that. I need to catch back up on that. Orville, I think I mentioned in the last episode. That's the new Seth MacFarlane one. The Mick, I started watching again, but I think I'm behind on again already. That one's really funny. Channel Zero. I don't know if I mentioned it on the last episode because it's now season 2. And I don't know, I kind of marathoned it, so I don't know if I don't have it written down, so I don't think I did. Channel Zero is it a sci-fi show? I'm not even sure. But anyway, it's like really creepy, but it's really good. And the 2 seasons have absolutely nothing to do with each other. So if you are unable to watch season 1, you don't have to. You can just watch season 2, which is current. They're completely different stories. It's almost like Twilight Zone-ish, the kind of feel to it, like the kind of idea of it. And each season appears to start and end, and it wraps up that whole little story. It's almost like a mini-series kind of thing. So it's really, really good. And I liked the first season, and it was really creepy. The second season, I really liked the story. It was really cool. Law and Order True Crimes, they're doing the Menendez brothers trial thing, and I'm really enjoying that. I don't know if I mentioned that on the last one either. Did I start watching that yet? Because that one's really good. Also not written down, so I don't think so. But anyway, I love those things. I love those things. Like the OJ one. Because those things were things I kind of grew up with hearing on the news and stuff. Things that were current when I was younger. So I really enjoy them. And Eddie Falco is the lawyer. I forget the lawyer's name in real life. But anyway, she's that character, and she's excellent. She's really good in it. Eddie Falco's the mom from Sopranos, and she's the Nurse Jackie character, so she's really, really good in that. And it's very, very well done. Well, it's Law and Order, so. The Walking Dead is back on. Interesting things going on this season. I don't want to give away any spoilers. The Unabomber. It's on the Discovery Channel. It was like a miniseries on the Unabomber. That was excellent. Fascinating. Really well done. I really enjoyed that one. You also feel, I mean, obviously, it's never okay to blow up people, no matter what, but getting more of a view into Ted Kaczynski and that he had mental health issues and stuff like that, you kind of feel bad for him. Again, you never condone what he did, and you don't understand it. That's not what I want to say, but it kind of gives you a different perspective of what he did. Stranger Things Season 2 came out, and I watched the whole thing in like 2 days. So, that was awesome. I really enjoyed this season. It was really, really good. I love Steve Harrington. his character development throughout this season was absolutely phenomenal. It was awesome. Reading. I am reading American Gods by Neil Gaiman. This is the first Neil Gaiman book that I've actually read, because I love Neil Gaiman and I love his voice and his accent, so I usually listen to all of his books, like Neverwhere. I've never actually read Neverwhere. I've listened to it, and he narrates all his own stuff, so American Gods I'm actually reading, and just as enjoyable. I do miss his voice, but it's just as enjoyable. And I also started reading Bonfire by Kristen Ritter. She's an actress, and she wrote a novel recently that came out in November, and she's Jessica Jones. If you've ever seen that or seen commercials of that, that's who Kristen Ritter is. She was also, I forget her name, Jane was the character's name, Jane, Jesse's boyfriend, Jesse's girlfriend in Breaking Bad. So I like her a lot, so I figured I would check it out. And I'm really enjoying it. She writes very well. So it's a really enjoyable book. It's a, the character's a lawyer. I think it's kind of like a mystery, suspense genre. I'm not exactly positive, but I think that's what it is, and it's really, really good. She writes very well. I'm very impressed. I'm only on like the 3rd chapter, but I'm really impressed. So, I think that's it for this episode. Like I said, I'm kind of all over the place and discombobulated today, but I figured if I didn't record now, I probably won't do it tomorrow, and it's already been like 2 months. So, that's what's been going on. And I'm super busy with the Knitting Guild Association research and all that work, but I enjoy it. I learn. I enjoy it a lot. So, I thank you for joining me. And happy knitting and spinning.